Endless mode sucks. Hello everybody, my name is Vendetta, and today we're going to be talking about why I think Endless is the most terrible mode that we have in TDX. And before you take this the wrong way, there's no hate to the development team, there's no hate to the game at all. I actually really love this game. I just want to throw that out there. I have nothing against the game. I just think some things need to change. As always, if you do enjoy this video, please consider hitting that like button. It really helps the video. And consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and maybe become an official content creator for TDX on the official Discord. Also, do let me know what you think of this video down in the comments down below. I do read them daily, and I might just respond to yours. But with that out of the way, let's just jump right into the video, shall we? So, why do I say Endless mode sucks? Well, I think I can vouch for everybody here, and I think most of the community is going to agree with me when I say Endless is boring. Alright, so I said Endless sucks. Why do I say that? Well, I think I can vouch for the entire TDX community and everybody watching this video when I say I think Endless is boring. It might be fun at first, and it is. It'll be fun the first, handful of times you play it, and it's good fun to get to the end and all for the first time, beating Void Apex and seeing you get 23,000 gold. But really, once you start playing it a lot and you've gotten used to the mode, it starts to feel like an actual drag. The reason I say that is because there are several things wrong with Endless that just make it so boring to play. The first and most obvious reason is that most of the waves feel effortless and like they're thrown together in, 5 minutes. And I mean, for pretty much every wave past wave 100, it's all just reused enemies. Sure, you have the first time you'll see John Toilet, you have like Exo Santa, the Golden Eradicators, you got Void. That's all pretty cool, but then they go and reuse a lot of the older stuff way too much. Alright, in specific, let's talk first about Eradicator Mark IV. This guy is actually everywhere, and I am so sick of seeing him in this game. The first time he appears is wave 50, then you see him again on wave 100, then you see him on wave 103, then you see him again on 130. Not to mention there's 2 of him on that wave, and there's 2 of him in between 103 and 130 anyways. Then you see 2 more at 137. Then you see a golden one at 150. Seriously, why is this guy here so much? He's got cool mechanics like with the giant cannon on his back, and that's great, but seriously, it gets to a point where he's overused. Then there's Calamity. Calamity gets overused in Endless so many times. We only need to fight Calamity like twice, and that's all we need. The first time is on wave 80, the second time is on wave 166, and he appears a couple of more times. There's a wave where he is with Void, and there's also a wave where there's 2 of him. Like, seriously, bro, I am so tired of seeing Calamity, I'm so tired of seeing Eradicator Mark IV, and don't even get me started on things like Assailants, Anti-Golems, Goliaths. These things are everywhere. They feel like they're just spat out into Endless waves. Another reason Endless is really boring is because, like I said, most of the waves are just filler. Now what that actually means is that the filler waves are really just boring. They don't have any purpose. Let's cut it down here. Let's say on average you have about, 30 or so waves that have bosses on them, 30, maybe 40. So that leaves you with 170 waves left. What are you gonna put in those waves? Well, it does the early game pretty well with putting things from like the Plague Doctor division, and then, it starts putting things from like Expert and Intermediate, and it leads up to the Eradicators. That's all good. But what happens past wave 100, bro? They're just throwing things that have high HP at you. And most of the time, it feels like they just pick an enemy and then just give it a lot of health and shield, and then just put a bunch of them and throw it at you. And that's fine and all, but it's the same enemies every time, and it gets so repetitive doing the same kind of waves every time. Like, I don't want to do my 12th Goliath wave. I don't want to do my 15th Anti-Golem wave. Like, I'm sick of it, dude. Do not even get me started on 180 to 190. Those waves are just complete slop. It's literally just Assailants, but each wave gives you like 2 more Assailants or something. It's so dumb. Whoever did that, seriously, whoever did that, do not do it again, please. Please do not make like wave 200 to 300. Just have more waves like that. I beg of you. To go along with this, it's also just quiet and it feels unlively to play Endless, and I don't think I'll talk about that part very much right now, but I will get around to it in a minute. However, the balancing of Endless is just completely terrible. It cannot be only me that feels like majority of the waves in Endless are too easy, and then the hard ones are too hard. Yeah, the hard waves of Endless are just way too difficult. Like 174. Why does a John Toilet have that much health? Even when I'm doing the best I can, that guy makes it like suspiciously close to the end of the map. Wave 171. If you don't have a good amount of cryo towers, dude, you're doomed. You're just straight up doomed. That wave is so difficult even at peak performance. I gotta throw wave 134 in there. You don't got G-Mine? Yep, you're pretty much doomed, bro. And I'm not saying that because I die on these waves a lot. I'm saying this because I've died on these waves several times just because I don't have a specific tower or just because I did something wrong. And that's just not how it should be. The waves should be beatable with a fair amount of loadouts. With I mean the amount of towers you have in the game, they should be beatable with a handful of different loadouts. But the way they've balanced it, it just feels like they just want you to use specific towers, and if you don't, you get punished for it. But now, let's talk about what Endless actually deserves. The justice that Endless needs to be done. Endless needs a rework pretty desperately, and I'm going to tell you what I think exactly should happen. So, first of all, first thing about what I said about it being boring and unlively and quiet, there's something that can be done there. First of all, go ahead and use the updated art of the advisor that they've made that is present in Elite and Expert and even Halloween. For the entire mode, regardless of where you're at, there should be background music, just like Elite and Expert. There needs to be background music, especially for a mode this long. I don't care if it's music that's reused from Expert, Elite, if it's reused from events, I do not care. It just needs to be some kind of background music. Because right now, the game is so quiet. All you can hear is just the sound of your towers shooting, and then occasionally the boss music will step in. But I mean, like I said, that's for like 30 waves. It's not very much. Next, I want to talk about what wave 1 through 80 does. That's really good. That can stay mostly the same. However, it does need some tweaking. I think the way they start Endless is very good. It's just, it feels good. It feels like standard. It doesn't feel like it does anything crazy, like how Elite throws stealth enemies at you pretty quick, or how Expert tries to just dump resistances on you pretty quick. No, it feels like it's just an all-round, just overall endgame mode. That's what Endless should feel like, and that's how it should start. So overall, the first 20 or so waves can stay the same, but maybe update the models, add in some new enemies, do something like that. The background music here could be from Elite, considering that it's like Plague Division, and it's like, I got the Plague Doctor, then the Revived Plague Doctor. And on that, I actually think that they should stretch out the core bosses up to Calamity, and they should stretch it out to Wave 100 instead of Wave 80. The reason I say this is that Plague Doctor and Revived Plague Doctor, Eradicator Mark II, those need to be separated a little bit more. And overall, I feel like it's more fitting for Calamity to be Wave 100 than anything. So Plague Doctor could be like Wave 20, and then Revived Plague Doctor could be like 30 or 35 or something, with all of his little minions from the Elite rework in between. I like the idea of having an Eradicator and multiple Predators come with him, so that can stay. Maybe that could be like Wave 40. Wave 50 could, without a doubt, be Eradicator Mark II. I do like this, and I think it's fitting. Do remove the Eradicator Mark I, though. I think there's already a little bit too much destruction for this early in the game. Then it can pretty much continue on like it does normally. Wave 60, 70, 80, and 90 can all have some kind of boss. Wave 60 having Eradicator Mark IV. Wave 70 having Eradicator Combat. Wave 80 having Apex Predator. And then, I don't know, like Wave 90 could have like Destructor or King and Queen or something. Who knows? Maybe it could be both of those, actually. And then Wave 100 could have Calamity. After Wave 100, now this is where the problem kicks in, because in Endless right now, that's where it starts to get boring. So how could we make it interesting? Well, I think the first thing they need to do is start making new and unique enemies starting here. So after you kill Calamity, it's going to be kind of like a new start. Advisor can cut out here like he does normally, but after you kill Calamity, there's just nothing in Endless. So Let's take advantage of what Expert does by bringing in 2 narrators, and let's go with that for Endless. There's been several narrators, I can't even count how many there are, like something like 8 now, and seriously, we could use some of them after Advisor does cut out. Where's Dr. Xenon? Where's John? Where's Oil? Where's Void? Like, we could get any of those talking to us at any point throughout Endless. That is probably the easiest way to make Endless feel more lively, as it feels like there's people talking to you. It feels like there's people there. You're not the only one there, right? It actually feels like there's something happening. Alongside this, though, like I said, make some new enemies, make some updated models, and maybe just give enemies some new abilities or something. Put enemies from Elite rework, Expert rework, and maybe some of the events in here, which is where I want to go next, actually, the events. So there's events in TDX, and they have lots of unique and interesting enemies. I mean, let's look back on Christmas 2023. They had interesting enemies. We had April Fool's 2024. We had Halloween. We had Christmas 2024. MLG from 2025. And we've got the recent Slime event as well. All of these could play a huge role in Endless. Imagine if Wave 100 to 120 was like Halloween 2024 themed. So maybe on, like, I don't know, 108 or something, you face like the Nightmare Wretch with the Vile Engineer. Then on 115, you face the Enraged Eradicator Mark II and the Enraged Apex. And then finally on 120, you would face the Nightmare Wretch. Obviously, some of those guys are going to have to be fine-tuned to actually work on a normal path instead of an open battlefield, because otherwise they're just going to be broken and be unkillable. But they deserve to be part of Endless. Oh yeah, I seem to have forgotten that this entire time there should be flying enemies. Like, after Plague Doctor dies on Wave 20, there needs to be flying enemies. Anyways, back to where we were at. After 120, there needs to be just enemies from all the different kinds of modes. I want it to feel like we're going through like a quick experience of all the events again. They could do it in order, actually. So instead of Halloween first, it could have been Christmas 2023, then Toilet Mode, Tower Battles, then Halloween, Christmas, and then, you know, so on. Different segments like that. I want to fight the Halloween bosses. I do want goofy waves as well, where it's like the last 10 waves in Endless we have right now, where it's just like, you know, like 30 revived Plague Doctors. Those waves can be funny to do, especially if they're, you know, actually somewhat difficult. As long as it isn't just brain dead easy, I think it's a good addition. So, I don't know, something goofy like 20 Destructors or something, just something really, really stupid. They could throw in a wave with, like, I don't know, like 30 Heretics, or, you know, just something funny that's also somewhat challenging, you know what I mean? Now let's talk about the future of what Endless might get realistically and the problems of updating it. So, we're at Wave 200 now, and that takes about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours if you don't use speed. So, the problem with that is, if they expand the game mode to 250 or 300 waves, or, well, in the far future, maybe something like 500 waves, what's gonna happen to the game? Because if it gets too long, I mean, we're talking like 5 to 6, maybe like 7 or 8 hour games here. That is far too long to play one game of TDX. That is too much. And how are they gonna make the rewards for this balanced? And also, about the time, what are they gonna do about that? There's no one that's gonna go see those waves by playing for like 7 to 8 hours. That's just not gonna happen. So are they gonna introduce some mechanic where you can just start at wave 201? Or are you gonna like introduce some mechanic to like speed through the game so you can get to the new waves quicker? Who knows? All of it sounds a bit fuzzy. But if they don't go with any of that, and instead they just give us like just some simple good towers, like, I mean, the Nightmare Towers like Refractor, War Machine, Behemoth. Imagine what kind of towers we would need to defeat a wave 300. Now imagine the power creep. If we get something that power creeps Refractor, I might just quit the game, dude. Like, that's gonna be way too powerful. So they're in a bit of a pickle here. They can't really do too much. If they put in effort for waves like 300 and 400, then like no one's gonna go see those. No one is gonna go there, and no matter what, no matter if they give us good towers to get there, it's just gonna power creep, and no one's gonna go there just because it takes too long. So what are they going to do? Well, I have heard talk about people saying that after 200 or after a certain point, it could be AI generated. Or, well, not AI generated, but just naturally generated. Well, I don't know how I feel about those waves. I mean, I think that concept of making endless truly endless is like good. I think that they could invest in that, just having the waves be generated on and on until you eventually lose. Because although I think it is a smart idea to have that extra wave 201 just full of like quote unquote impossible endbringers, as like it serves as like a, oh, the game mode keeps going, but this wave is so hard that you can't get past it. I like that. At least they try, and it's not just defeating Void Apex gives you the win. But it means the game mode isn't truly endless, so are they going to use naturally generated waves after this in order to make it truly endless? If so, I can only imagine that that's going to be really difficult to balance and make fair, especially if it's not the same game that everybody is playing. For example, like, what if I get a wave that's much harder than somebody else does, and they have an easier time getting past it? Anyways, I'm going to stop myself here. I've been recording for over 30 minutes just talking, so do let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I could totally ramble on and on and on about this just forever and ever. But yeah, I think Endless definitely needs something big to change, and it needs to happen, dude. Endless is definitely one of the biggest things TDX has to offer, and yet it's one of the most boring as well. So anyways, that's going to be it for my little ramble. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, do consider hitting that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. I do check those daily. Join my Discord server, the link is in the description, and we will catch you all next time on the Vendetta TDX channel. Bye-bye!